session, and our speakers are going to speak for a long time. So can we get started and welcome everybody? So hello and welcome everybody to today's JDEdwards Forum. My name is Deirdre Joubert and I'll be your host for today. Thank you for joining us. It is a pleasure to share the exciting new features and enhancements in JDEdwards Release 25 with you. Today serves as another strong testament to JDEdwards as a product and to Oracle's ongoing commitment to continuous improvement and modernization. Year after year, Oracle continues to deliver new features and functionality, and Release 25 is no exception. We are also pleased to share that Oracle has reaffirmed their commitment with an extension of Premier support now available through to 2036. Release 25 was made available in October of 2024, with a subsequent update released in April of 2025. Our agenda today is to explore as much as possible of what was announced in Release 25. Sarah Saman will start by unpacking the JDEdwards Release 25 highlights, and Warwick Dromgoole will showcase one of the exciting new features, namely widgets. Rian van der Bank and Akona Mahono will discuss the importance of staying code current and how to achieve it. Warwick Dromgoole will showcase enterprise automation for manufacturing, and he will introduce the process modeler that was made available in Release 25. Warren Solomons will demonstrate how AI services integrate with JDEdwards, and finally, Jean-Jacques Duplessis will discuss and demonstrate how Microsoft Teams can be used as a platform for JDEdwards purchase order approvals. Just a few housekeeping notes. The session is being recorded and we will share the recording and presentation slides with you after the event. The session will run for approximately 2 hours and our presenters will remain online after the session to answer any questions. However, please feel free to submit your questions, comments, recommendations, or wish lists at any time using the Q&A or chat box. We will do our best to address them during the session. For any questions we don't get to during the session, we will follow up with answers via email after the session. With that said, let's dive in, and I'm going to hand over to Sarah Saman to get us started.
Great. Thank you, Deirdre. Good day to you all. My name is Sarah, and I will be taking you through the Release 25 highlights, which have just been made available. Please have a look at the pertinent phrase on this slide. It's enterprise automation. The primary objective of enterprise automation is to view the entire process holistically. So that's what we're trying to achieve. What has been released from October 2024 in terms of procurement, we have enterprise automation for procure to pay integrated with warehousing. We also have two-way voucher match automation. This was already showcased in our previous forum. We have the newly released process modeler for purchase order process, which we will be showcasing today. If we have a look at sales, again, more enterprise automation for order to cash integrated with warehousing. From a finance perspective, in accounts receivable, you now have the ability to assign delinquency fees to the business unit of the invoice. And also within the GL, there is an increased range of account IDs for larger businesses. In the manufacturing module, we have enterprise automation being production order to cost update, which we will also be showcasing today. If we look at the brand new released in April 2025, if we look at procurement, there is now a prompt for environment login for the purchase order approval mobile app. I think this is quite self-explanatory. You can choose an environment when you log in. We have more enterprise automation for the procure to pay model with the connected processes. What this means is the procurement process starts with requisitions that convert into purchase orders. This now links the purchase order to the requisition. You can drill down to the purchase order from the requisition. For sales, we have the newly released process modeler for the sales order process, which we will also be showcasing today. And for capital asset management, CAM, maintenance and service work order ledger can now be enabled. You can now access a comprehensive history of all changes made to maintenance and service work orders through the work order master ledger. Okay, so if we have a look at digital transformation, which has now been released from October 2024, what you will see on this slide, most of the enhancements had to do with orchestrations in terms of returning values, inputs and outputs, calling orchestrations from listing variables, and also enhanced functionality for E1 pages for text and images. If we have a look at what's been released in April 2025, the first one on the list is augmenting JDEdwards Enterprise One with Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Services. This has to do with AI and is very exciting, and we will be showcasing this today. If we have a look at My Tasks, this feature provides two enhancements. Number one, orchestration messages can be delivered now to a notification list. Number two, messages with tracked tasks are easily identified so that the recipients will be aware of the tasks that they need to complete. The next two have got to do with comparative criteria. So this has got to do with the form exits, data requests, service requests, logic extensions. So it extends over a large range, also with queries and watch lists. So this functionality for comparative criteria is amazing and allows for the data comparisons between two sets of mapped data items. For example, you could create a query for requested date greater than promised delivery date. So with these types of comparisons, it transforms your data into relevant information with no manual comparison or manipulation needed. We also have watch lists on Enterprise One page connectors. What this is, this feature is used for the adjacent steps in a business process. For example, you will be able to measure the number of transactions that are queued or are moving from one step to another. Also, you can restrict file access to the AIS temporary directory. For orchestrations that exchange files via FTP or REST connectors, it adds a layer of security and control over the location in which files are temporarily stored. We also have passing an application version as a variable in message links. So therefore, within a message link, the application version can be made variable and rather than hard-coded as before. And then the last one on the list is enterprise widgets. This expands the concept of one view watch list by allowing the source of data to come from orchestrations and or logic extension outputs. Therefore, we can create aggregations and calculations over data beyond record count to show valuable information. Right, so the next item I will be discussing is JDEdwards Sustainability Framework. So sustainability is becoming a key focus area globally as we realize we need to reduce our carbon footprint. All businesses within different industries are able to utilize JDEdwards to capture their environmental data. Just to note, the old environmental accounting module has been made redundant, and now JDE has developed a sustainability activity ledger to house all of the data for reporting. This module is stock standard within JDEdwards and is free of charge. We have three pillars of sustainability: environmental, social, and governance. JDEdwards focuses on the environmental part. We have scope 1, 2, and 3, which are categories of greenhouse gases and their emissions, and organizations need to report on this. Scope 1 would be direct emissions from owned or controlled resources. Scope 2, indirect from purchased electricity, etc. Scope 3 is other indirect emissions from your supply chain, business travel, etc. Okay, so if we have a look at the sustainability framework roadmap, what we have is scope 1 has already been released for JDEdwards, and this is the sustainability foundation. Data can be captured via standard voucher or voucher match within JDEdwards. There's also approvals via workflow, and we have activity sources, and all of this is for auditability, and there's a history within the activity ledger. And this has also got integrations into EPM in terms of the reporting and carbon calculations. So scope 2 is planned and not yet released. Scope 1 for assets, same thing. It's planned, not yet released. And all the rest of the backlog for all the other scopes is now being researched and will be released at a later date. Right. So if we have a look at the sustainability framework architecture, let's look at the blue block inside this slide. JDEdwards provides the sustainability foundation by creating reference data that can be captured from standard JDEdwards applications. The data is stored as activity data in the sustainability activity ledger. You also have the ability to capture or modify the data within this ledger. And there's also pre-built import and export functionality available. The JDEdwards digital platform enables you to integrate into any analysis tool for reporting and/or carbon emission calculations. These carbon calculations may vary from country to country and industry. JDEdwards can integrate seamlessly with Oracle EPM, which enables carbon calculations for analysis and reporting. So thank you. That's a short summary of JDEdwards sustainability. As you can see from what I've presented, there are so many enhancements, updates, and improvements. I'm now going to hand over to Warwick to showcase the newly released widgets.
Hi everyone, I'm Warwick Drumgour, and I'll be showing you how we have used widgets on our Resolve Red Quick Close page. This page provides a visualization of your current status of your data through the use of watch lists and widgets. On this page, you'll have all your integrities as well as watch lists and widgets to provide you with a quick view of how your data is looking. This will give you insight into where you need to focus on, especially with regards to your month-end activities. You use the orchestrator to fetch the data you would like to display, even data from outside your ERP system. You create the orchestrator and then link that orchestrator to a widget, and then you're able to display the widget on the glass or on your page. There are 4 types of widgets. You could have a badge widget, and that can display information in numeric or text format. If I look on the left-hand side of my screen, I've got Parts Emporium displaying as a widget, and this is the supplier that has the highest open amount balance from an AP perspective. Next to it, the supplier, which is Parts Emporium, has an open balance of 2.81 million, and that is a numeric badge that you can display on your page. Moving to the right, what we have done is we have used a meter widget to look at the differences in balances between your module and your general ledger. So if I look at my AP open amount, I've got a metered badge here showing what the value is from an AP perspective. And then I've got the GL balance next to it. Got your GRNV open amount. That's very similar to how your report is. It's pulling that data from your 43121, and that compares that to your GL balance. Got your AR open amount and your AR GL balance. And what we've done is we've also looked at sales invoices that have not been updated. And we've also got these sales invoices that have not been updated from a cost perspective. This will help you with your inventory recon, as this will not reflect in your GL at this moment in time. On the left-hand side, I have got a widget, which is a meter widget, which is fetching information from an external source. So we connect to an external API to give you the rand-dollar exchange rate, and that can be displayed on the page. Below that, I have got the temperature in Denver, which is also going to go and fetch from an external API. Next to this, we've got a text box. So you can go and bring text from your system or from an external system, and you can display it on your page. as a text widget. And this information is showing you what the forecast is for Denver. The widgets are very similar to watch lists. With watch lists, you go and create a query and it actually goes and does a count on the record. But with the widgets, you can display the value. As Sarah mentioned, you can display the aggregated value. And as they work similar to watch lists, you can attach them to the tiles. So you can attach, if I'm looking at this 146K on your supplier payment inquiry, that is your payments that are not posted, and you can display it as a value. From release 24, you are able to go and add 4 watch lists to a tile. So I have added that to this, and you can go and add multiple watch lists and widgets to tiles. With the introduction of release 25, you can also go and add your widgets and watch lists to your connectors. So I have added a watch list to this connector. So you've got lots of space to actually go and add different watch lists and widgets. Sarah also highlighted the fact about comparative queries. So I'm going to go and look at my open due date versus my invoice date. And with this new functionality, I can now display all my due date information where my due date is less than the invoice date. If I just click down here, you can see that you have now got a column where you can compare it to a different field, which is quite handy in when you're wanting to analyze 2 different fields against each other. I am now going to hand over to Rian, who is going to take you through the code current.
Thank you, Warwick. Good morning, everyone. I'm sure after today's session, all of you want to move on to the latest release. So yeah, is it an update or is it an upgrade project that you are looking at? We have all been involved in major version upgrade projects for JDE, perhaps moving from 9.0 to 9.2. These type of projects were usually major, time-consuming, expensive events that cause significant disruption to the business. Therefore, most businesses embarked on a version upgrade project every 7 to 10 years and associated with an upgrade. The frequency of which, let me just get my story here. The frequency was also influenced by a couple of factors such as the associated cost, duration, and disruption to the business associated with that upgrade project. Another contributing factor was Oracle's version release frequency, whereby major version releases happened every couple of years. This led to a situation where businesses were not being in a position where they could utilize the latest available functionality in JDE and often use third-party products or customizations, even though JDE functionality was available. As we all know, Oracle changed their approach to the software release frequency when they introduced the continuous adoption framework from JDE 9.2. Updates are now released more frequently on an annual cycle with at least some quarterly updates in between. And that's all being released with a specific objective in mind. And that's for you to remain code current and have access to the latest functionality and features more frequently. So what are the differences between the two? And there are a couple of differences between an upgrade project and an update project. If you look at an upgrade type project, you expect a major version transition with significant changes to the application and technical layers. There's also introduction of major new features and business processes in an upgrade project. And normally, unfortunately, it required retrofitting for customizations because Oracle had said you ended up with a set of new code from the previous release. Typically, an upgrade project took about 6 to 9 months to complete, including the post-go live support. And by the time you actually went live, you were already behind on the code. Then there was a high cost factors cost impact associated with the upgrade project, and measure business disruption with basically everything else being placed in hold. Whilst the business is in busy with the upgrade project, now other projects are happening, and you have to involve users to test and so forth. From an update perspective, we expect a minor version enhancement. So not major changes, smaller frequent changes to the application and technical layers, incremental improvements and minor new features of each single release, continuous improvement, and retrofitting of affected objects only. You don't have to all your code is not gone. Oracle does not overwrite all your code. From a duration perspective, it's significant reduction there. Look at a 6 to 8 week project duration instead of this normal 6-month project, and therefore obviously a lower cost impact and insignificant business disruption associated with an update. Sorry, let me just get those right. So why update? The biggest driver should be for you to leverage the optimization and the new features and optimization opportunities across all core business processes. This is now possible with Oracle's continuous delivery methodology, and Akona will explain a bit later, but there are Oracle introduced comprehensive and forever improving impact analysis tools that helps assist with an update rather. So you'll know what you're dealing with even before the project starts from a retrofitting and a testing perspective. You can move away from a 6 to 9 month upgrade project cycle to 6 to 8 weeks. So you can do this more frequently. And this aligns with Oracle support strategy. And important, that is a rolling 10-year premier support. So every year that gets extended with 10 years. And it aligns with Oracle Cloud Strategy. As you will see, and Warren will show, Oracle develops and is developing native integration into OCI services and other cloud products like EPM with JDEdwards. So what do you get? Obviously, access to the most recent features and functionality, integration capabilities, and also can help you to reduce your application landscape by reducing the need for third-party tools. You can leverage new technologies like AI and other cloud functionality and ensure, if you update frequently, that enhance security compliance from a database perspective, from a web server perspective, from an operating system perspective. And you continuously then get the on-the-glass features like widgets, which Warwick showed just now, logic extensions that can help you further develop and getting rid of modifications. Needless to say, orchestrator that's continuously improved, workflow to automate processes and approvals and notifications and alerts. So some of the features that you do get. All right, so I think that the big question then is, what should the approach to a release update be, and then also the frequency? Like I previously said, most companies did a major upgrade 7 to 10 years. With the tools that Oracle provide, we feel you can safely do it annually and be in line with the Oracle support strategy. But how should you approach this then? First goal should obviously be to complete the project as quickly as possible to minimize the disruption to the business. How would you do that? You focus on the delta between the previous applied release, so from release 24 and moving to 25, just focus on the changes between 24 and 25. You use the impact analysis tools, which Akona will explain in a bit more detail now, to identify the affected objects. This will highlight for you what you need to change, or what you need to test, and then what of your modified or copied objects will be impacted. Important in this whole strategy is to have a modification deprecation strategy. Modifications and customizations are still a bit of a barrier to, or will influence the duration of your project. So you should have a strategy how you continuously get rid of the modifications and move them to logic extensions and other layers, and not try and address those modifications as part of your initial release update project. And more importantly, and probably most important, analyze and plan the rollout of new features. You're not just upgrading for the sake of, or updating for the sake of being on the latest. You want to leverage the latest tools. So know what's available and how you're going to use it and plan that rollout. So we've included, okay, so the process from an update perspective. First, you'll perform your impact analysis. Akona will apply those tools. I will show us how those tools work just now. Perform your impact analysis, understand what you're dealing with. Apply the update in your non-production environments. Do your retrofitting, what you need to do there, if you need to do any, or move whatever you want to the tools layers, like or logic extensions. Just bear in mind that if you move items from ER code to logic extensions, there's UDO security that needs to be configuration. Do that configuration. Move into exception testing. Once again, it's exception testing. Just deal with the delta. That applies for unit, integration, and UAT. The standard JDEdwards code in the last couple of upgrades that we've done is solid. You don't know if the object wasn't changed, you don't have to worry about it. Then after you've completed your exception testing and gone live, move into your modification deprecation strategy to continuously get rid of the modifications and customizations. You included a couple of slides here just to give you a sense of what's being released all the time, and hopefully you realize that the longer you wait, the bigger the change is going to be. And there's a lot of movement in development from Oracle. Here's a slide showing so and this has all been released in the last year, from November 2023, when release 24 was originally released, until November 2024 when release 25 was released. So there's a lot of changes and optimizations that Oracle is doing and enhancing the product. Here's just a quick list of the planned items or optimizations, improvements that Oracle is busy working on. So those should be released probably 26, release 26 or soon after that. And then you can see there's a bunch of research that's going into further enhancements even going forward. Important, the JDE support. You can see there's a lot of new features that are being added. JDE supports a rolling 10-year window. So at least up until 2036 at this point in time for Premier support, which includes comprehensive maintenance and software upgrades. Next year, it will move to 27. The following year to what's after 37? 38. So it's a rolling 10-year. There's no expectation that Oracle is going to stop support or development on any of the JDE features, and that continues to enhance it with cloud integration and automation tools within the software. So I'm going to hand over to Akona now to take you through the workings of some of the impact analysis tools. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rian. Good morning, everyone. So I'll be touching on some of the analysis tools that Oracle has provided and improved over the years that aid in simplifying the process to get the state code current. So these utilities assess the impact that an update will have against what's in your current system from the code ER code level, and it reduces the uncertainty and effort in planning and executing the project. The Oracle has also improved the extensibility and orchestration frameworks, which has expanded the usability of JDEdwards. Also improved on the UDO capabilities, which we'll later chat about how you can use them to reduce some of your customizations at the ER code level. These tools help reduce testing effort as it streamlines the testing scope and you know what developments, retrofitting that you need to go through based on the update versus what's in your system. Oracle has also improved the connectivity to infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, as well as software as a service, supporting broader cloud strategies. Okay, the first tool is the impact analysis. So this tool is a pre-update exercise to sort of see already before you apply the update, what impact this update will have on your system, and thus helps better planning from planning to execution of the update. So what the impact analysis shows is objects that are included in the update and versus objects that you have in your system and what has been changed by Oracle at an ER code level. And together with the object tracker, this helps the identification, prioritization of what needs to be assessed, evaluated, retrofitted, and tested. And as you can see on the screenshot on the right, for this particular example, P4310 has been replaced on the system and has also been modified. So this already gives an indication to the developer, as well as the business analyst, that this P4310 has modifications and the overall standard ER code has changed. Therefore, there's a retrofitting exercise that has to be done and testing thereof. So here's an example of update 9, release 25 on a release 23 system, which had update 7. So update 9 has 12,884 objects. And for this particular system, out of those objects, only 13.3% are affected, which reduces the scope instead of having to analyze a total of 12,800 objects from a retrofitting and testing standpoint. And from that 13.3%, only 1.28% have been modified for this particular example. So to further expand on the process of applying updates annually, the more frequent you apply the updates, the less the affected objects become. So on the screen on the top, it's from release 23. So that's 13.3% of those objects. And at the bottom is coming from an older release, which is release 22. And that's more objects of 18.3%. Just as an indication, as the longer you wait, the more impact it will have on the system, thus expanding the execution time of the project. Okay, the next utility is the customization object analyzer. So this utility complements the impact analysis tool. It extracts all objects that have been customized for assessment by the project team, and it aids in determining the retrofitting effort, which then therefore impacts the testing effort, therefore the turnaround effort of the total project. And this looks at all objects, including custom objects, and anything with a checked-in flag, as although you may not have made any changes to your ER code, but if you check in an object, it's regarded as a modification, which then could be a false positive. So how the process works, Oracle provided a process of loading the customizations into a table, and there's 2 reports of a summary and a detail, which will be used for analysis. And at the bottom, the screenshot shows an example of a few objects that have been identified as modified, which will input into the analysis process of the project. The application configuration analyzer. This is a set of reports which identify differences for processing options, data dictionary items, user-defined codes between either releases or environments. These reports include the version compare report, which compares processing options for interactive versions as well as batch versions. The UDC compare report, which compares differences the UDC, in the UDCs between two environments or data sources, as well as the data dictionary report, which compares the data dictionary items between two environments or data sources. Okay, then we have the decustomization analysis. So what the decustomizer is, it provides output of opportunities where there are UI customizations that have been done at an ER code level that can be moved into the UDO level and only applies to interactive applications. So, for example, if there have been some UI changes on the form level that can be moved up to a UDO level by usage of form extensions or personalization forms. And that also helps in the reduction of the turnaround time post applying an update, because Oracle ER code will be changed by an update, but it will not impact the UDO. Therefore, the retrofitting exercise for the particular object reduces. And again, the process, it loads into a table, and Oracle provides a report that outputs these opportunities where you could remove customizations from an ER code level up to a UDO code level. And here's an example of that report being ran, comparing against the pristine path code to a active path code. And it shows, if we take P48201 as an example, it shows some opportunities where there's been ER changes at a form level, and that could be moved up to a form extension or personalization form. Therefore, if this particular object gets updated by a UN or an ESU, there will be no impact, because now the customization has been moved to a UDO level instead of an ER code level. Yeah, so part of the journey of staying concurrent is reducing where you can, where customizations at an ER code level, as I previously mentioned. So here's an example where we have customized work order parts detail application, and the events are column exit and changed inline action. And these actions, if you look at the bottom screenshot, these actions can now be moved up to a UDO level. Again, if an update is impacting this, replacing the ER code, therefore it reduces the requirement from a development standpoint to make the retrofit back at the ER code level, which we have now would rather move up to a UDO level, which helps with the process of getting as vanilla as possibly as we can, so that it aids us in reducing the turnaround time from applying updates and staying code current. Yeah, so a recap on some considerations. The more frequent you apply the update, the less the impact and business disruption the process will have. And the ideal approach is to apply an update annually and follow a program of working on your decustomization process. And also it aligns by providing, aligns the business requirements to new features sooner rather than later. And as discussed, that once you've documented your modifications and moved them from ER code up to a UDO level, it therefore can impact positively the turnaround time of executing the project. So I will now hand over to Warwick. He will chat about the extension of the enterprise automation feature released in release 25.
Thanks, Akona. As Akona mentioned, I'm going to be talking about enterprise automation from the manufacturing perspective. So the framework of enterprise automation is based on the ingest, model, analyze, solve, and measure model. In the previous release 24, they introduced the procure to pay and the orders to cash module. And with release 25, they've introduced the manufacturing process. So as you can see, Oracle are continuing to focus on the enterprise automation space. So the objectives of enterprise automation are to expand your focus from individual transactions to business as a whole, to make better use of your existing data to reveal blind spots in the process with the use of watch lists, and now with the use of widgets. You can define the process and data for better visibility and corrective action. So this is what the enterprise automation page looks like. And this is based on the modern best practice. So you have direct access to inquire or update your applications in the process flow. Watch lists and alerts for exception conditions that could affect your production process, and you have analytical charts to represent your manufacturing data. So if we delve deeper into it, in the first column that we have, you would see that you've got your creation process of your manufacturing. So this is your creating, manufacturing, and your scheduling of work orders. You can attach your parts list, you can schedule your work, you can check your component availability, you can manage your outside operations like your purchase orders, and then you can release your works orders. Oracle has also attached certain watch lists to these tiles, so you can look at your MPS exceptions, you can look at your component shortage, and you can look at your overcapacity. Those watch lists have been defined based on the criteria and your critical values. So if they are showing red, those are the options that you need to address and you need to act now. In the second column, what you have is the reporting to completion. So you have your report transactions where you can then issue your material, you can look at your unexpected shortages, you can do your component scrapping, you can have your hours and quantity entry, you can update your hours and quantity, you can look at your outside operations, so you can look at your purchase order receipts, you can do your test results, and you can do your completions. They've also attached a watch list on the different tiles. So you can look at your past due operations, you can look at your unexpected shortages. Now, point to note is these pages are what Oracle has brought in. You can customize these based on your processes, and you can add additional tiles and watch lists on the page. They've also provided some KPIs. So there's 3 KPIs. So you can look at your on-time work order completions, you can look at your engineering variant or top 10 engineering variances, and your top 10 actual variances. So let's delve in and actually have a look. What does it look like in JDE Edwards? So if we're looking at JDE Edwards, you've got your page, and it starts off with your creating of the orders. Then you would go into your attached parts list and your routing. You can look at your scheduled work, check your component availability, and manage your outside operations, all in the first column in a process flow. So it's nice for a user to have a nice visual of the process. So with these watch lists that they have done on the first column in the creation phase, if I go and click on that 12, which is my exceptions, I'm getting a list view of all the orders or all the things that I need to focus on, because you can see that they are all past due. So this is all done via doing a query. So you've attached a query to this watch list, and then you attach the watch list to the tile. But you're not limited to what they have defined. You can define your own watch list. If I move to the second column, which is sort of your completions, where you've already created the work order and you're going to issue materials. Once again, they have done a process. So I can issue my materials, I can look at my unexpected shortages, I can do my component scrap, hours and quantity entry, my hours and quantity update, my outside operations, my test results, and my completion. And then I can move on to my manufacturing accounting and my variance accounting. You can see on the outside operations, it's flagged as a 2. So you don't have to go in there to know that I've got two receipts that need to be processed that are past due. I can click on that, and it will show me the data that makes up the watch list. If we look at the analytics or the KPIs, I can see my work order completions or my on-time completions. If it's too small, you can pop it out and you can look at the information on a much larger screen. If I'm wanting to look at the data that makes up the chart, I can click on the link and it'll take me to the data and I can analyze that data. Okay, I'm going to close that one and I'm going to go on to my engineering variances and I can open that up and I can look at my engineering variances. If I'm looking at the big blue block with the 43%, I want to look at it. If I double click on it, it will take me to the information that makes up that 43%. So this is the standard page that they have produced. You can use this as a base and you can go and add additional tiles to this to make it more aligned with your process. And with this feature now, with the widgets, you can go and add widgets to it. So you can actually go and add widgets to the tiles and get more information or aggregation of data. You could add meter widgets to it. You could also go and add graph widgets to this page. Okay, so moving on, the next thing I want to discuss is the process modeler. Okay. So introducing the process modeler. Let me just.
Hey, the meeting.
Yeah, introducing the process modeler. So the enterprise process modeler for JDE Edwards allows your organizations to quickly review and optimize your processes. You can view the business processes supported by actual data and metrics. So the information is brutally true. It overlays your business data on top of your business process and provides a comprehensive view of your business processes. Provides a graphical tool for defining metrics for the process and visualizing in real time. And it also enables you to define, monitor, measure the process. The features of the process modeler, it's got design time mode. You can drag and drop. You can specify process definition and you can define filters. You can save the process modeler as a UDO, which you can review and you can share. Runtime mode, so it's constantly real-time data. You also have the ability to do a snapshot, so that will take a snapshot of the current time, which you can then save and you can view it at a later date and refer back to the data at that point in time. And it also provides you with analytics at the process node and link level. They have provided two process modelers. They've provided a sorry about that. They've provided a procurement process modeler, and that procurement process modeler looks like this on the screen, where it is defined by your order type and line type. So when you go in and create this process modeler, you would choose your order type and you would choose your line type. The nodes are determined by your order activity rules. And then you have node metrics. So you can look at the information based on order line count, amount open, quantity open, or order value. And then you also have link metrics, which you can then look at the values from an open amount perspective, open quantity, or order value. And it also provides you with analytics. And the analytics are at a process level, at a node level, and a link level. If I'm looking at the sales process modeler, it's also defined on your order type and line type. And your nodes are determined by your order activity rules. And your node metrics can be on order line count or order value. Your link metrics can also be on your order line count or order value. And then you have analytics at process level, node level, and link level. So let's go into JDEdwards and actually have a look at the process modeler. So I'm going to choose my enterprise processes. And you could have various process modelers defined. So I'm going to choose my procurement one. So what do you see? You've got a whole overview of your procurement process. Now, these different nodes are all determined by your activity rules. So if I start, I've got my enter purchase order, I go to my approval process, I can have my rejection, my print purchase order, my purchase order receipt, and then my completion. I can further go and say, let me go and display the codes as well. So now I can see the different statuses on the order activity rules. So enter purchase order is at 220. It's all based on the last status. So on the right-hand side, you've got analytics. So I can look at my spend analysis by business unit, all the different business units that were used in this procurement process. I can flip it out. So I can then see the individual information. So I can see that in this procurement process, it is divided in 3 business units. I've got my M30, my M10, and my M20 business unit. Then I can also look at my spend analysis by supplier. So I can see which suppliers are making up my procurement process at the moment. And obviously, Allen Suppliers is the highest at the moment. And then I can also look at my approval rejection percentage by buyer. So I can see which orders were rejected in the different buyers. So if I go and look at this at the node level. So I'm clicking on this 316,000 here. So what this 316,000 is telling me the orders that are sitting at the 220, 230 stage, or the orders that are sitting with the last status of 220. So I get a nice visual of the different values sitting at the different order activity statuses. Of this 316,000, I can see that 300 has moved to your approval process. Okay, so if I go back to my 316, it's broken up of the 300 and the 16.5K. If I want to see what makes up that 316, I can go and see it by supplier. So I open up that node. I can see the different suppliers that make up that 316,000. I can also go and see which company. This is all relating to one company, so it's only displaying the one company. And then I can also see which business units are made up in that 316K. And you can do that for all the different nodes. As you click on the nodes, it'll pop up with the analytics for that different node. You see it all changes. Okay. So if I go back to my 316, I've got the 300K that's moved to your approval process. So if I click on the link, you will see the analytics will move to the third column. So I can see that 300K that's sitting there. I can open that up and I can see that these are the suppliers that make up that 300K. And I can scroll around the graph and it will highlight which one I'm looking at. So the Looney brothers are using 94.2K of that. And then of that 300K, because I'm sitting on that link, it's only used in one company. And I can see here that if I pop that out, I can see the different business units that are making up that 300. But this thing is also telling me a picture that I have got a situation here where this 16,000 or 16,500 did not go through to the approval route, but the order was created and went straight to print. So if I click on that 316, or sorry, that's 16, I can see that it's for the Looney Brothers. It was in this company, it was in the 200 company, and it was for that business unit. Now I need to ask myself a question. How did that order not go through the approval route? Why did it actually print? Because this is based on your activity rules, your order activity rules actually allowed this entry to go through. So you need to ask yourself the question, are my order activity rules correct? Should I be allowing orders to bypass the approval route? And go and find out, why did this order go through the approval route? So we knew it was the Looney Brothers orders. And if I hover over here, I can see that the open amount is 16.5 and the quantity is 2. So when I went to go and look at the data behind here, I saw that it was made up of 2 orders, and those 2 orders were below 10,000 Rand. And my approval route for this M20 business unit was only kicking in at 10,000 Rand, which allowed those orders to go through because they were raised below the 10,000 mark. So you can use this visual to go and see, is my system performing like it should? Do I need to make changes in the system? Do I need to update my activity rules? Do I need to go and change my approval route? Do I want to continue allowing approvals to go through for orders that are raised below below 10,000? So what else can we do with this process modeler? So if I click on here, at the moment, it's all on an overview state. So I'm just going to take the graphs away. I can go and look at this by business unit. So I can see if I'm looking at it just for that business unit or that business unit, how the data changes. I can also go and change the view from an order date. Okay, if I take that away. So now you can see if I'm looking at the orders for 2024, that's what the modeler will look like. If I'm looking at 25, that's what the modeler will look like. I can also look at it from a quarter perspective. I can look at the different quarters, so that quarter and that quarter. Or I can look at it from a day. So what's quite nice about the process modeler, with the days, I've got various day or dates here. If I don't want to click on the individual ones, I can click the play button. And what the play button will do is it will play it through the different days. And I can watch my screen and see how the orders have moved through the different days. Okay, so it's quite nice. So I'm going to go back to looking at it from an overview perspective. And if I open that up, you can see that it works very similar to how your watch lists are. So you can see that there are colors here that I've got representing 0, or they are representing orange. So you can define, where do I need to focus on? So if I'm going to focus on all the red, those are going to be all orders that are greater than 60,000. You also have the ability to save. So I could save this process modeler, and I can say this is May 2025 on the 22nd. So if I save that, then I can save my data at a specific point in time. And what that is telling me is that I can go back and I can look at data. How did it look on that day? And you can go back to your snapshot. Just want to quickly show you that you can also do it from a sales order. So if I go and look at it from sales, same scenario, I can look at my enter purchase or my enter sales order, my print pick slip, my ship confirmation, my print delivery notes, my print invoices, and my sales update. And they're also providing you with different analytics on the overview perspective. If I'm clicking on it from a node perspective, I can see the analytics. And if I'm looking at it from a metrics perspective, I can see the different analytics. So it's quite a nice feature to have, give you a nice visual of your data in the system from a procure to pay and an orders to cash perspective. And that is me with the process modeler. And now it will go hand over to Warren, who will be taking you through AI.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Oracle Artificial Intelligence Services. To be effective in today's interconnected digital economy, your enterprise system must also integrate with external systems and cloud services. Oracle has demonstrated their commitment to the JDEdwards user community by constantly enhancing the JDEdwards digital platform, especially the orchestrator, where a huge amount of R&D has been deployed in new technologies and integration functions and features over the last couple of years. The orchestrator enables you to connect Enterprise One business data and applications with cloud services easily and securely. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure provides a wide area of over 150 such cloud services, ranging from automated provisioning to utility services, as well as artificial intelligence services. With JDEdwards Release 24, Oracle enables you to authenticate to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure REST APIs using the OCI API key-based authentication. With this enhancement, you can combine the power and flexibility of Orchestrator with the infrastructure, utility, and AI services offered by OCI to build solutions that augment your Enterprise One system with intelligence, automation, and higher business value. For example, you can create orchestrations that call the OCI object storage services to upload and download files. Once the files reside on OCI object storage, you might then call OCI artificial intelligence services such as document understanding to read the files and extract key data from them. As an example, you could upload receipt images, toll slips, extract data from them, and create expense reports in JDEdwards Enterprise One. Similarly, you might upload image files and call the OCI AI vision services to recognize the image, evaluate it, and create quality records in your JDE enterprise system. In this way, you can combine the power of Orchestrator and its rich set of capabilities with OCI services to start your innovation with JDE and Oracle AI. JDE now empowers you to benefit from a broad area of OCI services, including AI services, to solve your business problems and achieve your strategic outcomes. Combining the portfolio of Enterprise One application modules, the years of business data that you have accumulated in JDE, and the broad area of OCI services, the possibilities are nearly endless. With OCI services, you can custom train models, deploy ready-made machine learning models, and enhance applications and solutions with AI capabilities without needing to be machine learning experts. AI comes with advanced models that are pre-trained on business data, which can be customized by domain and customer data. The Oracle AI platform services consist of OCI Digital Assistant, which is using natural language processing and understanding as well as custom algorithms to derive accurate intent and context from conversations. With digital assistants that understand their business-specific vocabulary, employees and customers can communicate with applications using voice and or text commands. With OCI speech, you are able to create accurate real-time transcripts from natural conversations or convert recorded audio conversations to textual data to analyze with AI services. Speech recognition is increasingly multilingual, with the ability to translate between multiple languages instantaneously. OCI language detect and translate languages in written text and automatically recognize specific types of content, including the names of people, locations, products, and organizations. These services can also analyze the mood or tone of the text as positive, negative, or neutral, with a confidence score and automatically classify text based on keywords and phrases. OCI Vision extracts textual or visual information from still and moving objects and use that data to drive analytic applications. These AI tools can enrich image-based files and metadata tags, such as descriptions of objects. Those tagged images can be indexed for use, such as intelligent search and retrieval. With the right training, the system can also detect anomalies in photographs and videos, which is why vision recognition is currently used in the manufacturing applications such as automatic quality control. OCI anomaly detection is the identification rather of rare items, events, and observations in data that differ significantly from the expectation. The anomaly detection service is designed to help with analyzing large amount of data and identifying the anomalies at the earliest possible time with maximum accuracy. Document understanding is a service that we will demonstrate today. Pre-trained models are available for invoices, receipts, passports, driver's license, CVs, tax forms, checks, payslips, health insurance ID, and others. With machine learning services, you are able to train your own models using OCI data science, Oracle data machine learning, and OCI data labeling. Document understanding has two main capabilities. The first one is for analyzing images, both the cat versus dog examples, whether it's a cat or a dog, but also for detecting objects and bounding boxes inside an image. You can bring your own label data or use Oracle data labeling services to create your own label data sets and train your custom models. The second capability is around document AI. You can use it to understand documents, whether it's scanned PDFs, forms, or even image containing textual information. The extract text services can extract text from images, including non-trivial scenarios like printed and handwritten text, tilted, shaded, or rotated documents. Document classification classifies documents into different types based on visual appearance. High-level features and key extracted or or extracted keywords. Language detection analyzes the visual feature of the text to determine the language rather than relying on the text itself. Use table extraction to pull line items, details from an invoice or purchase order receipt, and other similar documents, and obtain values for common fields in invoices and receipts using key value extraction. Here is an example of key value extraction for invoices. Oracle provides pre-trained models for invoice key value extractions with invoice fields and detailed line items. Some of the fields that are extracted is invoice IDs, which is your invoice number, supplier name, which is your vendor name, invoice dates, line items is items description, quantity, unit price, amounts, etc. So let's dive into our demo use case for today. So we have a customer problem. We received thousands of invoice emails from different suppliers, especially at month end. And we want to process these invoices and payments promptly in order to receive our settlement discounts, which will save us millions in a month. So the solution is to use JDE orchestrations and OCI AI document understanding services to process the email attachments through the AI services and create the supplier invoice and attach the invoice as an attachment to the voucher within JDEdwards. This is just an example of a simple process, and I'm sure you will have more examples in your own industry or within your organization where this can be applied. So the steps that we will take in our demo today is we will ingest through email where we would create a specific inbox where we will then use the Exchange, Microsoft Exchange or Outlook Exchange rules to automatically move these emails into a specific inbox. Where we will then use the automated process, which is a Python script. Other scripting tools like JavaScript, Groovy, JSON, or JRuby can also be used. We've opted to use Python as it runs on any OS, and we have the in-house skills to support it, and we have used it in some of our clients for automation purposes. So within the Python script, we will extract the email attachments to a supplier invoice folder. We will then process the orchestration, which will then, and we'll go into detail about what the orchestration will do. We will then place the successfully processed invoices into a archive folder. And if it fails, the process fails, we will then put it into an error folder. We can put in additional processes where we can do error handling with workflows, etc. For the purposes of today, we just want to show you the simple process, and obviously we can add on to this process depending on your requirements and your needs. The JDE orchestrator will use the following components: connectors and connections, logic extensions, form request to create the voucher, and attachments to attach the original invoice to the voucher in JDE. The orchestrator will use connectors to the OCI object storage and OCI document understanding. We will then classify, extract the data from the invoices to create the voucher and the attachment. And lastly, we will delete the document from OCI object storage. This flow chart describes the detail of the processes of the AI demonstration solution for today, and is included in the presentation pack and will be made available to yourselves after the presentation. So this is just to display the orchestration and the components that are used to create the voucher with connections, logic extension, a rule, the actual form request, the attachment, and the deletion of the object in object storage. Sorry. Okay, so let's go into the actual demonstration. So let me just open up here's my emails. So here I have received 3 Oracle invoices and a supply invoice for Metro Fiber, as well as a general supply invoice. I have put in rules in here in my Outlook to then have these emails sent to a different inbox, which I can then read through my auto script, which is my Python script. Okay. Let me open the actual folder structure. You can see this is my supplier invoice folder, where the document will be extracted to, and once it's processed, it will either go to my archive if it's successful, or it will go into error for my error folder. Okay. The next step I want to show is to just show this is in my object storage within OCI. We don't have any transactions in here. You will see that once we process it, it will create a folder here called JDEdwards or JDE Forum 2025, where all the documents that are processed will be added in here. In my supplier ledger inquiry in JDEdwards, just all the transactions for today. You'll see there's no transactions here in JDEdwards. Let's get back to my. Okay. So what we'll do is to run. We've used the Python script to automate this, and you can then schedule this on a regular basis to then extract the attachments from here, and to actually process the orchestration as I've explained earlier. So let's just do this. Okay, now we're executing it. It's just clearing the previous executions. Just check. Okay, so it's extracting those, and it's saving it, and it's busy processing this one transaction over here. Okay, so it's going through the entire process, uploading it to OCI object storage, calling the document AI, document understanding AI services, extracting the JSON, and creating the records within JDEdwards. So you can see the first one has already been processed. That is an invoice for Oracle Corporation. You see the second one as well. And you'll also see that it has read those and made it as read. So these were unread records, so now it's read. So when we receive additional emails, it won't process those transactions again. So as it's going through, see there's 3 invoices, which is from Oracle. This invoice is from Metro Fiber, and this is an invoice for a general supplier. So there it's done. It's processed all of those invoices. So if we now go back into JDE, see there it has processed all of those transactions, and we've also attached it here. So if I go back to my folder, I can see that nothing's in there. It has processed all of those transactions. And if I just open this attachment, you can then see there's the attachment of the invoice that has been processed. If I look at this, and you'll see the formats are, although these invoices are all different formats, document understanding extracted the information from it and processed it accordingly, although they have different invoice layouts, for instance. This one is Oracle. So you can see it's totally different, and it actually processed those transactions accordingly with the necessary taxes applied to it as well. So if I go into that transaction in JDE, you can see that the tax information is also being processed accordingly. If I look at my document, what's happening in OCI, if I refresh this, you will see there is my JDE Forum. Just to give you an example, this is how it has actually extracted that PDF information. So it has made it into, extracted the information, put it into a JSON file. We then extract that information through our connector within JDE. And we build the necessary information that we would require to extract or to process and to get the supplier number, etc., for the information that we would require to process the transaction in JDEdwards through our form request over there. Yeah. So just to give you an example of what it looks like, let's download this one. Let's open it in Notepad. These JSON files are huge because it actually validates each and every field that it finds on the document and analyzes that field and then present it into a key value, which we then pick up to process the document. Oh, sorry, it opened it up into another window. Let me just drag it across for you guys to see. Here you go. So there's your JSON file. It identified it as a document, specifically as an invoice. You see these are different types that it can, depending on the information that it reads from it, it will identify it as an invoice, a payslip, or a passport, etc. And you can see how it actually, on the document, we put the pointers in. So if I look at my key value extraction at the bottom, you'll see my total amounts with the values in there, etc. And I would then just go and extract that information, just as an example. Great. So you can see my transaction has been created, and through just my automation script that runs continually, and you can see that we can now add processes in here of approval processes, either within my orchestration or workflows that we can add in here to approve these processes. So I'm sure just by this use case that we've demonstrated today, you can have endless use cases within your organization as well. So here's just an example of additional use cases. Validation of personal identification documents in the employment verification, for instance, or customer identification, shipping and healthcare using driver's license, passports, expense analysis by extracting line items from a complex bills, such as cloud bills or utility bills. So the possibilities are endless. I'm not going to go through each and every use case example here. You will receive the pack as well. So the license metrics for document understanding, Oracle document understanding is that the first 5,000 transactions as a free pricing tier. For free pricing tier, you may use 5,000 transactions. If you exceed this amount, you must pay for usage in accordance with the rate card pricing for this cloud service. The measurement and usage for it is the OCI transaction is measured by calculating the number of transactions, which is defined as one operation on one page in one transaction, consumed in total at the service endpoint, and is monitored hourly throughout the month. So 5,000 transactions will be provided at no cost. And because object storage is also free as well. So if you use more than 7 GB of data, then there's a nominal pricing that applies there, but very little. So as you can see, if you just look at your receipt processing as an example, if you process 50,000 receipts per month, and it's one-page documents. If you go over 5,000, it becomes at $10 per 100 pages, which is very little. So depending on your usage and your transaction volumes, this service is very affordable. So in conclusion, there is no opting out of AI transformation. To stay competitive, every enterprise must eventually embrace AI and build out an AI ecosystem. Companies that fail to adopt AI in some capacity over the next 5 years will be left behind. Though your company could be the exception, most companies don't have the in-house talent and expertise to develop the type of ecosystem and solutions that can maximize AI capabilities. For a successful AI transformation, and by maximizing your JDE Edwards Enterprise One investment, that includes strategy, development, and tool access, please talk to us at Resolve Red to assist you in your AI adoption journey. Thank you. I will now hand over to JJ, who will take you through the approval process using MS Teams and Power Apps.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this part of the session. Just a quick introduction of myself. My name is Jean-Jacques du Plessis. I'm an experienced JDE Edwards developer working abroad and locally. And also, I've been working 4 years with Nextworld, developing the Nextworld products based in Denver. And as you know, the founders of JDE Edwards are the founders that started our Nextworld. So just an exciting journey, seeing JDE Edwards and our family involved here. So just a quick note on the agenda. So I am very excited to introduce to you just the endless possibilities of JDE Edwards, and just that the future of JDE Edwards just looks bright with being able to tap onto the latest and greatest of technology. So just the agenda for today, in my next couple of slides, you'll just see just a why are we introducing Microsoft Teams and Power Apps as part of the integration of JDE Edwards. The next slide will be features and benefits, and then the use case scenarios, also considerations on what just needs to be taken into consideration when implementing this at your site. I'll explain the process, and then the final slide, I'll show then the demo of, I'll do a demo of Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Power Apps. And we built a purchase order approval process using Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Power Apps that's integrated into JDE Edwards. And yeah, so let me go straight to the next slide. All right. Right, so why Microsoft Office 365 and JDE Edwards? So as we know, Microsoft Teams is embedded in Microsoft Office 365. So Microsoft Teams is part of the package that's involved. So as we know, Microsoft Teams is a cloud-based collaboration platform widely adopted across organizations. Microsoft Teams natively connects with Power Apps and other Office 365 tools, cross-device access. So when you have Microsoft Teams on your mobile app or device installed, then you can use the mobile version. Otherwise, we use it on the desktop or any handheld device that has Microsoft Teams installed. Enhanced user experience. So we leverage intuitive, user-friendly applications. Reduces email overload. So with Microsoft Teams, we make use of chats to communicate with each other, and real-time alerts. So receive instant ERP notifications and updates within Teams. Once again, using the chats within Teams. Simplified task management. So we access and management JDE Edwards tasks without switching apps. So where we're familiar with the Microsoft Teams environment and we're using chats within that environment, we can just do all our JDE work within the Teams setup. Live integration. So AIS, application to interface services, enables real-time data exchange between JDE and Microsoft tools. As you know, with AIS, that's where we use the orchestrations. And the beauty of JDE Edwards, that's where we're able to make use of connecting with all the systems outside of JDE using AIS and Orchestrator. Actionable insights. we embed ERP dashboards, reports to track KPIs, monitor progress. So we can tap onto all the tool sets available of Office 365. We can use AI. You'll see in the demo all the components of that, and faster time to value. So it reduces custom development time, speeds up implementation. So as you'll see that the Microsoft Power Apps and Microsoft Teams use the low-code, no-code development environment, which is very easy to develop. And you don't need that much of a technical background to be able to do it. It makes it a lot quicker to develop. So going to the next slide. So this is just a quick sort of a summary, the current ranking of the chat platforms that's used globally within enterprises. As you can see, Microsoft Teams ranks at the top with around about 320 million users are using Microsoft Teams. Below that is Zoom, that's quite close. And then you have Google Chat and Slack going all the way down. And one thing that's been mentioned with Microsoft Teams is that it's a deep Office 365 integration. It's got embedded security, embedded single sign-on. So it is just one of the big motivators to go forward with using Teams as an integration with JDEdwards. All right, then features and benefits of using Microsoft Teams within and Office 365 within the JDEdwards integration environment. So it's faster procurement cycles. So streamline communication and approvals, speed up the process. Familiar interface. So everyone knows Microsoft Teams. Everyone's familiar with it. A lot of users use it on the personal level, or they use it on an enterprise level. So it minimizes training requirements. It's a unified workspace, as mentioned before, part of Office 365. So Office 365 has all these different applications and software that's readily available when you're building your Power Apps, where you can tap onto all the different pieces of Office 365. Mobile ready, so access functionality on phones, tablets, and other mobile devices. So you'll see when we developed the Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Power Apps gives you the ability to be able to see what that app will look like on the different devices, on Android or iOS devices, or any other format, and tablets, etc. So reducing app switching, so handle ERP-related tasks directly within Teams. Two-way integration, so we trigger actions in JDEdwards from Teams and vice versa. So we use orchestrations and ARS to do that, where Microsoft Teams and Power Apps communicates back and forth with JDEdwards. Single sign-on, so that simplifies logging. So when you log into Teams, you can actually then do a single sign-on with your profile. Compliance support, all actions are logged within Teams for auditing or accountability, cloud-based collaboration. Built on Microsoft's secure, scalable cloud platform. Secure integration uses embedded JDEdwards security with AIS token authentication. So we have the security of Microsoft Power Apps, and then also the security of JDEdwards that we make use of. And then offline capabilities, which is also part of the Microsoft Power Apps and Microsoft toolset, where certain actions and access are available even without live connection. So moving on to the next screen, so just use cases. So any process that you can expose by orchestration from JDEdwards, you can then use that to build your Microsoft Power App applications. So we've currently built the Microsoft purchase order approval process, but there are so many other use cases where this environment can be used. So we can build applications to review cycle counts, stock on hand, reorder level, sales, purchase order inquiries. So that's all inventory and orders, and then notification alerts. We can send chats to Teams from JDE to alert on batch approvals and posting notifications, credit hold release. You'll see in the demo how that will work as well. External access front end for non-JDE apps, customer portals, customer account inquiries, the automation and intelligence chatbots, Teams channels, embedded dashboards, so mentioning AI. And this is just a small list, but there are endless possibilities as long as you're able to expose a process via an orchestrator, and then the data that's being fed can then be used to build your Microsoft Power Apps. So going to the next screen. So just the considerations is, what if if you're considering to implement Microsoft Power Apps at your customer site, at your site. So firstly, the mobility is not available in standard JDE. So with Microsoft Power Apps, we can build a mobile application that makes it very easy to make use of mobility. Licensing, there's no additional JDE licensing needed to make use of this. Microsoft Teams is already used within most organizations. Power Apps, when you use the Power Apps in a live environment, the licensing cost is roughly between 90 to 150 Rand per user per month. Security maintained through orchestration within JDEdwards, no direct table, updates, user profile, and sign on with JD profile. Scalability, so there are so many, it's limitless on what you can do when you build now from Microsoft's infrastructure Power Apps up. Infrastructure costs, no additional costs, and then how to implement the Resolve Red offering, especially with this Microsoft purchase order approval process that we've put into place here already. The effort to implement that is roughly about a week, which involves exporting, importing of configuration files and the actual files of Microsoft Power Apps, and then unit testing, UAT, training, sign off, and go live. And then just how the process works is that we have in Microsoft in the Microsoft platform, we have the custom connectors. These custom connectors are the APIs that we configure to link to JDEdwards and the orchestration. So each action in the custom connector is connected to an orchestration. Microsoft Flow, it was previously called Power Automate, and it's a cloud-based service that allows users to automate workflows between apps and services. So it's with a flow where you then send a chat message, you send an email, you send interaction between all the different components of the Microsoft ecosystem using Microsoft Flow. And then Microsoft Power App is the actual UI layer. So for instance, the forms that we use in JDEdwards, it's the UI layer. So that's the user that interacts with the data and approves and sends and receives information to view. And then most organizations are already using Microsoft Office 365, which is included in Microsoft Teams. And then just to show you this little screen down here is that when you have Microsoft Office 365 license, then you by default have a Microsoft Power App license for Office 365. And this Power App license is a developer license where you can build a POC, you can build your own little apps just to see how it will work for your environment. And but when you need to deploy that into a live environment, then you'll need the user license. Then going to the next slide. So this is just a diagram of just showing how the ecosystem works. On the right-hand side, you have JDEdwards digital platform with your AIS orchestration. And that AIS orchestration then connects to your Microsoft custom connector. And for our demo, we'll be using the purchase order approvals review, which will be the P43081. And as you can see, so with the Microsoft custom connector, that connects to the Microsoft Power Automate or the flows, and then which also then connects to the Power Apps. The Power Apps is embedded in Microsoft Teams that I'll show you in the demo. And then with the flows, you also send mails back and forth where needed. And then from Power Flows, you send your chats back to Teams back and forth where needed. But you'll see that in the demo. So just this particular slide is just to give an idea in my development environment. If I want to see how the application will render on the different devices. In this example, this shows just how it renders on the Apple iPad Pro 12.9, but I can see how it will render on an Android device or iOS device, and that would be phones or tablets or any other device. Just clicking on here. So this screen is actually my personal iPhone 11 Pro, where I've got the Microsoft Teams app installed. And this is now where you'll see already a part of my demo, where I can interact with JDEdwards via my iPhone 11, and I can do purchase order approvals and rejections and review the data as approver from my own phone. All right, then I'm going to head off straight into the demo. But in the demo, what I'll be doing is I'll show you the purchase order awaiting approval. So this is a P43081 application in JDE. We'll view the purchase order detail. We'll also view attachments. So this this application will load the attachments and store it in Microsoft Teams in the OneDrive directory, and then we can reject with remarks and approve. So let me go straight ahead to the demo. So let me go. All right, let me just move across to my Teams. There we go. So this is now the Microsoft Teams environment that we're all very familiar with. You'll see my new app that I developed is over here on the left-hand side, but when you click on the three dots, you'll see the standard apps that are shipped with Microsoft. And then just this purchase order approval is the one that's been deployed here that I can use. I've now just used, when you right-click on it, then you can actually pin it to the left, which I've done here. So what I'll do now is I will open up a new window to launch my app, and I'll move that onto the new screen here. All right. So let me just make this a little bit bigger. Just give me a second. All right. Okay, there we go. So with this screen, this is now the first screen that's developed that where once I now log in, it will launch an orchestration that will now authenticate my user and profile and make sure I'm active. So I'll just go straight ahead and I'll log in. All right. When you see the dots moving on the top here, that means now this orchestration is processing. So over here, I have, as you know, with the P43081 purchase order approval application, your different order types are defined on versions. We will do a demo of the purchase orders, but if you want to set your requisition orders and construction orders or subcontracts or any other orders that needs to be, order types that needs to be approved, you can then select those, but we'll go straight into the purchase orders. The first thing you'll see is that my approver profile, so my profile has been extracted from the user from JDEdwards. So that is my address number that then defaults in. And the app immediately now is launching the orchestration to launch and list the orders that's linked to my profile. So here you can see all the order numbers that's waiting for approval. You'll see the paperclip, just like we're familiar with in JDEdwards, where you can see, well, that order has got an attachment linked to it. As you'll see, as you go into the order, the attachment loads, and then when the attachment loads, it will store that attachment onto my OneDrive directory. And it also makes it secure because that it's only my profile that will be able to access that directory. But I'll go straight into this order, and when I click on it, it will then open up the order. It will show the header detail, the header of the order. While it's busy loading, it loads the detail lines, but I can immediately already look at the order number, all these details, and then what it's actually doing here as well. And this is now we can start tapping onto the latest and greatest of technology, for instance, AI. So what it's doing here is we've got an AI summary that then summarizes the header and the details section of the order. And then it also reviews the supply address and will also add that in. So it just makes it a lot easier to read and get an overview of what needs to be done with this order or should be rejected, approved. So first thing it will tell me now that this order has been, it's 10216 initiated by this person on the 7th of May. It will tell me that it's currently 15 days old, which comes from this field. The order includes various quantities of mountain bikes. And I'll see there it's got some tea and coffee in there, and it will tell me also that this is where the address is. And then at the top over here, you'll see the orchestration is busy loading the attachment. And once that attachment has been loaded, you'll see the link appearing. I can click on that link and I can view the order or view the attachment. And that attachment will also be stored on my OneDrive directory. But as I go into the detail, you'll see the order details that's listed. You'll see here's my my list of mountain bikes, and then here's a tea and coffee that's been ordered as well. But myself being the approver, I'm not too happy with this order. I'd have a coffee machine installed in the office, and I'm going to reject this order by entering the rejection remark. And when I go to the address, this then also just fetches the supplier address just to give me all the information that I need. And yeah, so the nice thing is every order that you go into with the different with the different order details, it will then show you all this over here. Okay. All right, so let me just click on here. So when I click on this attachment, see here. All right, let me just go back here again. 1 second, I'll just go back in there again. Okay. So when you click on that attachment, then it will take you through to the it will take you to that document. Okay. So let me just. All right. So while that is loading, I'll just explain what the beauty with this AR summary component is that you can just like ChatGPT, we give it instructions to give us a particular information that we need from that order. So it can be user defined, it can be customized on how the order needs to be loaded. So if you go back into the detail here, all right, I'm just waiting for the attachment to load. Okay, there we go. So as we can see now, a chat workflow message has come through that the order has been loaded. If I just click on the chat, you'll see over here, it gives me the attachment that I can view straight away. I've got a little instruction to tell me where I can navigate to the attachment. But when I click on the attachment itself, you'll see all the security that's embedded in the URL, that it's only my profile that's able to view this. If I just go back to the link over there, so if I click on this link, okay, I'll just move this to the new screen. Just give me a second. There we go. All right. So as you can see, then open up the attachment, and then I can view the attachment straight away. And what I'll do now is I will then just reject this order. The first thing I'll do, maybe in the header here, I'll just say, I'll just do header remark just for testing. Okay, and when I go to the detail, then we can see the header remark coming through here on this detail part. And then I'm just going to reject this order. I'll just say no tea allowed. And no coffee allowed. All right, so when I click my reject over here, if I had no remark in there, it would give me an error message, but I'm going to go straight away and reject this order. Okay, and now we can see the orchestration that now launches to reject this order. And once it's been processed, the order rejection, it will give me a message at the top just to tell me the order has been rejected. There we go. And then what I'll do now is I'll go straight into JDEdwards and I'll just show you what it's done over here. Let me just log back in again. Okay. Okay, so let me go straight into that application. And then what I'll do is I will bring up that order. So that was 10126. And I'm going to take now the approver out because that won't show anymore, but I'll go straight to the rejection. Let's see over here. Sorry, 102. 16. There we go. Thank you so much. All right, great. And then when we go to the rejection reasons, Then we can see now the rejection comment has come through, and there's the header rejection that's taken place as well. And what I'll do now as well is I'll just do a quick demo of the approval part. So I'm going to go back to another order. Okay, and what's happening here now it loads a fresh load of the orders awaiting approval. The ones that's been approved already is not displaying on the screen anymore. And then what I'll do is I'll go to 1088. You'll see it doesn't have a attachment link to it. So it will just not load any attachment. It will just show me the detail here. So yeah, once again, I can review the detail. And then here's a different AR summary of this particular order. You'll see with this one, I've got 8 mountain bikes, but then this one's got a mountain bike parts. And if I go to the detail, you'll see this one has got 8 mountain bikes, and there's all the parts that are getting an AR summary and with the address. So this one I will just approve straight away. All right, and then once it's approved, I'll get my approval notification at the top come through here again. There we go. And immediately I get a chat notification just to say that the order has been approved, and will give me the approval details. And so everything can be just be kept within the Microsoft Teams environment. So this just gives us an idea of just the endless possibilities of JDEdwards and Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Power Apps, and what we can do with thanks to orchestration and LIS. That's the future of JDEdwards looks bright with keeping up to date with the latest technology. Thank you, everyone. Okay.
Thank you. That brings us to the end of today's JDEdwards Forum. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We hope you found the insights into JDEdwards Release 25 valuable, from the feature highlights and automation enhancements, to staying current leveraging Oracle AI services and integrating Microsoft Teams with JDEdwards for PO approvals. A big thank you to all our speakers, Sarah Saman, Rian van der Bank, Akona Mahono, Warwick Dromgoole, Warren Solomons, and Jean-Jacques Duplessis for sharing their expertise with us. A quick reminder, the recording and presentation slides will be shared with you shortly via email. We will also share answers to any unanswered questions submitted through the Q&A and chat box. If you have any additional questions or would like to explore today's topics in more depth, please feel free to send me a note and we'll definitely be in touch. So we're just about 2 minutes away. Our presenters will remain online to answer any further questions that you may have in person. For those who need to leave, thank you for joining us. Hope to see you at our next forum. Stay safe and have a great day. Goodbye.